Welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Ash. Today we're going to go back to the old Al Capone era and its relationship with Casey Jones.
Casey
Distillery.
Jones, right.
Mm-hmm. So, you asking, what does Al Capone have to do with Casey Jones? Good question there, Manuel.
It is a fantastic question. So, please enlighten us.
So, Casey Jones was the actual master distiller of the old bootlegging outfit that Al Capone was getting all of his moonshine from.
Right.
He made all the stills.
He made all the stills for Al Capone's moonshine. He was building a lot of stills. And one fact is he never, ever built them out of steel. He always built them out of copper. And another point of emphasis was because of the prohibition and always having to hide from the law, he was the first one to come up with a still that was able to be transported readily, easily
in the back of a truck.
In the back of a truck, and it was called a bed still.
Yes.
For that fact that it was designed to actually fit in the back of one of those old trucks.
And he designed handles on them so that the most important part is a condenser, that you could lift that part out if there was a raid and at least get away with that part.
And his grandson, Casey Jones, he then took up his grandfather's distillery ideas and actually made it a legitimate business. They brought it back
modernized the
to
still
life
a bit.
and modernized the still. And they've been
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they still have the original one displayed.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were there, and we'll have some footage of the actual distillery. It was cool. I mean, it wasn't that large.
No.
It's a fairly new distillery, but they have a lot of history.
A lot of history. Very nice people.
Awesome people. They gave us a quick tour. We actually met Aaron. We'll have a picture here of him as well.
Ager.
And they gave us a lot of bourbon to taste while we were there. And they pointed out a few of them which were award-winning. Matter of fact, this one right here in front of you is called the Eclipse. Now this is a straight bourbon from Casey Jones Distillery. It is sourced from Casey Jones Distillery. It's about 100 proof, I believe.
It's 100 proof, yeah. Bottled in bond. It's got a 75% corn, 10 wheat, 10 rye, and 5% malted barley.
Yep.
It's 4 grain, huh?
Aged for 3.5 years.
Yep.
And this one right here is actually got the master distiller and the owner's signature. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We actually did a free tasting there at the distillery. I thought it was fantastic, and it did win Whiskey of the Year in, I think, San Francisco, in one of their competitions. Yeah, it took gold, first place.
And this one was released specifically in honor of the eclipse that happened in 2024.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Eclipse is on the back
name,
there
it's the total
on their
eclipse.
label, which is cool. It outlines the 2 eclipse making that X over the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. First off, to all of our subscribers, we thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy this. As always, para Dios, tu familia y tus amigos. Salud.
Salute. Real strong vanilla smell.
A little bit of spice and
I get
caramel.
some mint. I get some mint.
Heavy brown sugar, caramel,
And baking spices.
and spices.
It's extremely sweet smelling.
Oh, wow. Butterscotch, cloves, pepper,
Orange?
a little zest.
Do you taste the
There is a
orange?
little zest.
Orange.
Yeah.
I taste the orange. And a lot of corn.
It's sweet.
And look at the color.
For 3.5 years?
Yeah.
Very good color.
It's very good.
So Casey Jones Distillery is
butter
the
pecan.
farthest western distillery on the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah.
It is approximately 3.5, almost 4 hours west of Louisville, Kentucky.
It's a ways out there.
it's out
It's a
there.
ways out there. I mean, we almost made it to
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah.
We did a quick tour. I'll have a video here playing while we're talking. So the lady was real generous, and she was excited about us being there, and and she was able to take me over into their fermenting rooms where they have their tanks, and they're just a bunch of 55-gallon plastic containers.
Okay.
You know, they're not as big as a lot of the other distilleries that we have been in. And then over there to the left, they actually had 2 stills. One was a model like old Casey Jones still, which was a smaller still, and then they actually had a real column still right next to that. And
a Vendome, right?
A Vendome, yeah. And I wasn't sure if there was a second distilling process. I would imagine they must be doing a doubler or something. Yeah. Why else would they have, you know, both stills there? Yeah. So she tried to explain as much as she could in the short amount of time that I was there. Well, gracious host, we got to see a little bit of that behind the scenes. We met the master distiller and the owner of the distillery, and they had a really nice gift shop.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's actually a big lake in the backside of the property, and some really pretty grounds where they actually host receptions and live events. They have music events, and they have a lot of cool formal parties.
Yeah.
This is fantastic bourbon.
Really good.
I really enjoyed it while I was there, and I really enjoy it now. The MSRP on this is
$54.99. That's exactly.
MSRP is $55.
Yeah.
Okay.
$55. Whew,
is this something we can get here, or is it only available in Kentucky?
She did tell us that it is available in like 35 or almost 40 states. She did say that it was not available in either Missouri or Kansas, because we asked her specifically about Kansas, and she's like, you know, we're not there yet. We'd like to be. We're working on it. It's a really hard state to get into. They are in a lot of states.
Okay, awesome.
I'll begin the bourbon review based on MSRP, color, history. I mean, right? I mean, how can you not produce a good bourbon and have a relationship with the original old-time Prohibition moonshine mobster distiller behind the scenes,
right,
and not be able to produce a good product? So now I'm going to give it a high review. I want to say the B&A review for this Eclipse bourbon is a 9.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I like all bourbons mostly, but the heavy corn ones, they're not always my favorite. But this one is, I'm going to give it an 8. I mean, I'm always on the high side because I like bourbon, but it's very corn forward. And sometimes the corn, I don't know, it kills it for me.
It doesn't
like
do it
too
for
much
you.
Corn.
Yeah.
But this one has a lot of other flavors going on in it, like the butterscotch and the caramel and the orange. I think the orange is what got me. I really like it.
The zest. Okay. All right. Well, I will give it an 8. It's fantastic. It's got great nose. I love the palate. It is zesty. I think it's great. Yeah.
And for a 3.5 year.
For a 3.5 year, yes. Yeah. It does have great. The amber is, it's not super dark, but then again, it's not like totally, you know, very watered down.
Probably more of a gold color.
It's more of a golden color, yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Well, I do think it has an amazing nose on it. It's got the traditional bourbon nose. Trish is right for me though. It does taste like corn, but not even like the corn mash smell that you just fall in love with after you walk through so many distilleries. But it's just almost like the dry corn in a field kind of taste. Like, I don't know how else to describe it but that. So it kind of lost me on that. Though it does have the good orange flavoring and stuff like that to give it boost, I'm going to go with a 7.5.
All right.
Okay. All right.
There you have it. Honest review, 7.5, 8, 8, 9. As always, we appreciate you guys watching our show. Please hit that like and that subscribe, and please share our content. Really helps with the algorithms, gets our content out there for everybody. And please leave comments. And as always, please drink responsibly.